So we ended up at Genesis 2:22, which is defined as the journey of love. It's the two measures of mother and father through the 22 incremental letters of the alphabet that are woven and compressed into one form, Aleph, that the 22 now become duplistic in nature through multiplication. So they are really an expanse of it, 44. Two 22s are 44. And then so we have, and we're establishing the Aleph through the Bet Tav. That's how we render down to 144. It's a measure of people that have compressed love into the form and shape of intention. And you can call it light, you can call it love, you can call it whatever. What it will do, it will resonate to its intention when it's present.
Right. Light, love, or love, light.
Truth, yeah.
Yeah.
So it will have its own resonance, and we'd be suited to remember, well suited to remember that. Because I'm going to go into some stuff here, that everything is frequency. We're human beings. We're journeying through the expression of being. And so woman, man, all of those are just frequency words. They've been separated out in fractals, and they've been given form of present or of representation in this construct that we can see what love is through its pieces. We interact with it all day long in the form and the shape of family. And so that's love fractaled out. All love is on the earth right now. All love. It's all here. It's just how we choose to see it. So I say that to say, what are we building? And so let's go to Genesis 2:22. So we're going to just skip along and do the best we can. We know that something's being built. We know that the Bet Tav is building. It's a pattern. Tabnith is a pattern, and it's the pattern of love. But love isn't, we need to still extrapolate love through forensics to attach it to a frequency, right? Because it's vibrating at a resonance, and it's saying, be like me, be like me. So, but God gave us a template of this, Father, Creator, and God is again being limited in that, because they've defined it as God, but again, that's only a word. It's the resonance in the frequency of letters that directs and reveals what God is.
So in other words, like using the Elohim, Hebrew, is going to have a much different vibration than just the word God.
Right. Yeah. Well,
because English being like a dead language, it doesn't have the vibratory nature, so it does limit it, like you said.
Yes, absolutely, and we know that God is just really a condensed form of Elohim, because it's El condensed. God is El in Hebrew, and it's one teacher.
Strong authority
That teaches
of one love.
Right, and that's again, that's condensed, because you can extrapolate much out from all of Lamed.
Yeah.
But we're not. This isn't that teaching. That's
those are on all the other teachings.
Yeah, that's what you've been doing, and that's painstaking work. Of this. I'm going into more of a
deeper advanced study.
Right, that you can extrapolate from and then assist people to say what was being shared there. But I need to start. If we can't cast a vision out through prognostication, then we don't know where we're going.
Exactly.
And then we get short-sighted in just the new, not nuances as a negative, but we can fractal it out so small that we're looking at the dust particles and we're missing the mountain.
Exactly. So it limits the perspective.
Right.
Instead of having a higher vantage point.
Right. So I'm trying to get us to see the mountaintop so we know where we're going, and that way we can enjoy the dusty journey of the wilderness. To say the dust is purpose.
And we can examine the dust along the way,
right,
but we're still climbing the mountain.
We're still climbing the mountain. Right. So that's where I'm going. Okay. So we know that we have dimensional language in here, because we can see the
Pesach.
The Pesach, and it's telling us that we have the ability to climb here. And this is what it's saying. So what Father made was a template, a vision of revelation through sovereign's revelation. That's Yahweh. And it's in the form of the representation of a teacher who stands as one completed in that revelation, giving vision as one that's already completed. That would be Elohim. And so now we have and what is Elohim? Because it's now God Elohim. So now this would represent, condensed down to family or strong love. So now God, strong love.
Right, the Aleph Tav.
Right.
But real quickly, the Pesach does mean to be separated. It
Yeah.
literally means to be separated, and it's spelled Pe Semek Kuf. So the words, spoken words that bring revelation of those who are wed, that have compressed light in the circle of time, that have found the narrow pathway between the dualism that we live in.
This would be
right?
yes.
They are separated from those that are going to be finding the strong love through the Aleph Tav.
Why are they
through
separated?
The language of resonance.
They're separated because they've already become. These ones,
exactly, because they found love.
right? These ones have already compressed it, and
Right.
therefore that's why they're representing as already sealed in Elohim, because they are. If you have a container, the container isn't full until it's fully contained, and then you seal it, and that is now one. And so
That then goes into the group known as Elohim.
And I don't mean that sealed as a limited perspective.
No,
because
no.
all I'm saying is this completion of being a human being in the experience of Earth. You've reached a point where you now become expanse.
Exactly.
And so you're teaching from expanse, and this is what love is, right?
Yeah.
It's the fullness of expanse and contraction in right measure and appropriation, because it's expanding for the purpose of contraction, and it's that teaching. It's the essence of love and light that teaches from the essence of being the completed, filled version of that intention.
Right.
Okay.
Which then gives you that authority to speak it.
Right. You become the authority by journeying in it. So that is strong love. That is family's representation. That's the bond, the glue of the Aleph Tav. That's what it is. It is strong love. But again, it's the frequency. It's the frequency of it that what it is. So this,
and we find that by journeying through the letters, the Aleph through the Tav.
right.
Because the whole story that is being spoken through the language is that of light and love.
Right.
Just adding that
So
for clarity.
we see this word in here that says rib, but really what it is, it's ribose, and it also means a plank. And I can, when you break this word down to, we're not going to go there, but when you wrote it, you can go there if you want to.
Actually, I put I drug my mouse thing over the number, and it has all the Brown Driver Briggs
okay,
right there, so you can actually see it on the screen.
Because this is the forensic work that again, the teaching is only teaching. The frequency comes in the realization, because that's what revelation is. It's aha, behold, it's taken form in you through the revelation. You have a moment. So we are assisting in that, but really, the painstaking process is still what we should all be doing in our downtime. And we've created our own reality, and our downtime is not downtime, it's uptime, but we seek in that. So really it's ribose, and it's talking about a plank. And the reason it is talking about a plank, because really what we're building is we're all building an ark.
And it says it right there, the side of ark.
Right. So we are all building, and I'll go into this a little bit further, why and how. And so we are all in frequency of the word ark. So it would be good to know what this is. And this is all the process of consuming self through the fire of burning up what is not, so we can see what is left over. And this is why we're an ash heap. These are these that they'll be clothed in sackcloth, because they consumed every nature that is not, and there they are in the fullness of nothing.
Do you know what that is? Oh my gosh, I just dot connected. The Tibetan monks.
Mm-hmm.
The rainbow light body.
Yes.
There's two occurrences that happen. They either turn into plasma light, where all that's left is an ash heap,
Mm-hmm.
literally,
Mm-hmm.
or they just leave their body and their body just begins to shrink.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, the container vessel, they just left it behind.
Yeah.
Which has been proven. Anyway, I just connected that with the ash heap of becoming nothing.
You can see it in
light.
the journey of the brotherhood that we're getting off track already. But you can see that even the brotherhood, when you render down the 12 brothers, because the ark is, the ephod is a household implement. The ephod is rendered as an outward expression of our inward reality, as all idols are. It simply is an outward expression of something that attaches to a frequency that reminds you of inward formation.
Absolutely, I love that. That's great. That's what I've been trying to get across. So that's awesome.
So it doesn't matter what it is, because even the priests were really adorned in the idolization of the intention of what was to transform within. But they didn't have the ability to see correctly, so they had to go through the expression and experience differently through mandated constructs, so they would then learn the lesson through the experience.
Right.
And so Even an ephod, if I was to have it in this, you not to have, like, again, the narrative has deceived us.
Right.
If we are resonating to true love, then we can progressively break down the reality to express it in another way to see it clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what's going on. So this plank, and we have olive sheen resh, which is a pretty cool word, because this is fire, sharpened fire as one head. Because this 834, and it simply says which, but this is which who. This is like a who person. The rib is taken out of, this is an order of one that is resonating to fire, to the sheen, and I'll show you. And then it's got the resh, which is the head. This is head fire of one. So you're talking a language that is a burning essence, a DNA that is burning within, that's been extracted out. This is light.
Also is the name of one of Jacob's son, which means to be happy and fortunate. And this is Asherah.
Don't get ahead. Yes, this is where we're going. This is what we're going to step into today. So this is my point. But this word right here is huge. So this is the DNA of something. Now because this is what we're building. And in these little nuances of which and ands and alsos,
right, the little nothing words that have so much information.
So this little olive sheen resh was taken from man.
Right, because it's got the conjunctive dash, which means it's already connected to had taken, and then we have from man, which has another conjunctive dash.
Right.
Which is big because we're talking about height and depth, breadth and width.
Right. So this is a measure that was taken out of man. Now again, taking out man and woman because it's only a frequency. We're humans, all of us. If we do the job correctly, then we're carriers of this essence and we'll really become woman because now you are able to birth that which you've become. You're stewarding it, you've conceived it, and now you've allowed it to go through its processing, through its nurturing, and then now it's birthed back in. Now we have this cycle.
Right, the gestational period of becoming.
Right. So this was taken from man, but yet again, man it's only resonating to Hey, Aleph, Dalet, Mem. It's a frequency. Take out this separation of man, woman, black, white.
Well, it's the revelation of the one blood.
It's the revelation of the one door being sealed. Right. It's
right,
a revelation.
Because Dom is blood.
Yes.
And Hey Aleph is literally one of the spellings of the symbol Hey.
Yes. So it's the revelation of the family's blood.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep.
So take out man.
Yep.
Now you have what was taken from man. What was taken from man? It says here woman, but really what was taken out was the teacher. Right. The essence of the fire, right? The essence of fire was taken out so it would teach us the way of fire. Because everything we're doing right now is becoming, this is why seraphim, even seraphim is just a word. All it means is you've been sharpened through the firing process to become sealed in a measure.
Right. So in other words, it's an increased level of frequency, which is an increased level of consciousness. That's all it is.
Right. Because I would say that because we're all even going to Alephim.
We're right.
And Teraphim is simply the journey of Terra. You're walking in the earth with the frequency of love, and Terra is plural of Rapha. So you're walking in the earth, finding Raphim, the healing.
Exactly. The healing to the head wound.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So and what is the head wound? It's the head fire. We went through the forgetting. Now we're remembering to walk in, because it's been taken out of us and it's teaching us how to heal ourselves as Raphim, teaching us how to walk in the earth, Teraphim, so we would Seraphim to find Alephim.
I totally follow that. Some people won't, but I follow it just because of the course of the letters.
Right. And so again, this is I'm extracting for the purpose of you rendering. Right?
Well, it kind of helps if I render as we go, though, because I got already 50 million videos that I have yet to produce to land the plane on the teachings I've already started.
So we're going to get out of this real quick.
But I do want to say to you, though, because I'm pointing out that you said the teacher, right? So Isha is woman.
Yeah.
But this is Lamed. This is a teacher of light, a bearer of light that comes to instruct the way of fire that were revealed to you something.
Yes.
This is what was taken out of man.
So an essence of fire was taken out. Light was taken out of man. So light was extracted out of man.
Wow, this is why he was in darkness.
Right. Because light is now his Ezer Kenegdo, which circles around him as spirit, right? So this is the teacher.
Right.
This is where we best pointing fingers say it was the woman, it was the man. Oh no, no. You know what? It was human being. Going through the experience of falling into love and experiencing love. This is my narrative.
Right.
This is how I see it.
No, this is actually really good to bring this forward because of the blame and the guilt and the judgment is a lesser construct.
It's a lesser construct.
When we can grasp a hold that it's just all experience.
It's
all experience and love.
If we see lofty, and this is the difficulty of navigating the day, because it's just we're always pulled down to perspectives that surround us. We can only be a summation of that which we ingest.
Correct. I totally agree.
So if we're hanging around or ingesting based out things, and we're
lesser narratives,
and we're living in a situation that would be based out, then most likely you're going to be based out in your thinking. But we can keep things lofty, then we can always have perspective of mountaintop perspective.
Absolutely, I love that.
So woman then and man are frequencies. Man is a measure that had a measure pulled out of him, so the measure would show him how to journey through life, through the experience.
And I like this because Ha-Adam has revelation on the front of Adam.
Right.
And Isha has the revelation on the back side. So it's the combination of the two between man and woman, which is the fullness of being.
Which is the journey, because remember we said everything's about the thought process being woven together.
Right.
This is what we're wrestling, as we call it the dance of thought, is wrestling the hemispheric measures of masculine and feminine.
Right.
And the spirit showing us how to weave it back
together
through the journey. So
one garment.
Right. So we are then portioned with a measure of breath, and it's tethered to the ruach, the light that goes around us, because it is the other portion of breath.
Right.
That is looking for it to connect, hey, together in one breath, in one form.
Then you have the hey and the aleph, the inhale and the exhale is a breathing one. This is why it says that the angels are neither male nor female.
That's why. Right.
Because as messengers, the difference from Malak to Malak, from a king to an angel, is the oneness that gets entered on the inside, which takes a king and a queen to become an angel messenger.
Right.
That's amazing.
So, yes, and so now we have this word, and again, we're just skimming this thing. But what did he bring her? He brought her the sovereign revelation of humility. I'm rendering this down.
He brought El to man. Oh my gosh.
Right. Now, if anyone's freaked out with becoming Elohim, God, I'm sorry, the perspective, you're still, change your diet. I don't know, because this is where we're going. All is Elohim, not all. That's not derogatory. When I say all, I mean filled up all. I mean a full version is resonating to love. That is Elohim.
Right.
You're resonating to the intention of why you're here. And if you're not and you can't see this, then you should ask yourself, why can't I see this? What have I partnered with as a summation of myself to this point in my life that I'm not calibrated to see this correctly? Because sometimes we're in gathering, and then all of a sudden there's just a little tweak, and then all your summations catch up to that moment, and you're realizing, because it all is all purpose for experience. So the woman was taken out. The spirit, the fire, the essence of fire was taking out the Ish, Aleph, Shin, Rash. This is big. That's big right there. So this was taken out to surround man, now in frequency, human, to show, I've taken the measure out of you already. You already were it. Now I'm going to bring it back to you in the form of the Lamed, point, golden, direct, in the way. Now you're going to experience what it is to become God, because you've been, the head wound is the forgetting.
Because we forgot that we were.
This is exactly why Manasseh and Ephraim, when Jacob went to bless him, he crossed the hands, because Manasseh means to forget. Why would he bless, to give the double measure to the forgetting.
The double portion of the firstborn
So
inheritance.
this is the mystery to that one,
Right.
is that he crossed his hands and he was like, "Oh, Father, no, you don't know what you're doing." He said, "Oh, Son, I do know what I'm doing." The frequency of his name says, "I have forgotten." So I'm going to give it to Ephraim, which means double fruitful, because that's the measure of remembering.
And it would make sense that the doubly fruitful would have the double portion of the twin covenants.
Well, we're going to go to that in a second, too. That's where I got to get to,
Okay.
because this is all crucial to why this is what it is.
The foundational piece.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's get out of here now. So
Okay.
yeah, so the Spirit brought, and again, I'm not trying, we could hang right here for hours and hours and hours and just let this permeate us and saturate us in the frequency of what it's speaking.
Before we dump out of that, though, he brought her, El, to man.
Yes, he brought El to man. But El was already in you.
I know, but man had to have something that was a mirror so that he could see when he became it.
Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's in reflection. If we're calibrated correctly, and this is why it really breaks my heart that we've been lied to, and everyone's like, "What's my purpose? What do I do? I have this going on." We need to break free of the construct that is being presented and vomited at us in the lesser reality.
Yeah.
Through people that really...
They have good intentions.
Well, some of them do and some of them don't.
Yeah.
Some of them know what they're doing because they're feeding off the empaths that are seeking the expression of love.
Right.
Because it's an energy.
Right.
And they make it difficult for us to interact in love because they make it very narrow for others to love because they project so much fear. And so now but can you imagine if that was removed and everyone we'd be exponentially already in the place of an arisen state, a being.
Absolutely. That's what we're going into.
That's what we're going into. This is part of that. We need to...
The transition.
So this is based off the 222, off of Genesis 1:1, which you've already established. And I know that there's much that we can do. So let's go back because we're building the ark. So now we've established a woman. And the first mention of building is in Genesis 2:22. And guess what? It's also the first occurrence of Isha.
So, and made, you're saying the first occurrence is the very first word, and made. Ya ben.
Right.
Way ya being.
Right.
And then the very first occurrence of Laisha is in the same verse.
Laisha.
Yeah.
Right. And it's Laisha. So
yeah.
So woman, her first occurrence is in Genesis 2:22. Again, our whole message is based off of this. Lamed Aleph Shin He.
Yeah.
Now we're going to build a foundation with this, and it's really interesting that if you go to 803.
Okay, so I'll pull that one up and then go one over.
Now, even pronounce that, right?
Ashuya.
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 And really what it is...
Oh my gosh, this is the making of Asherah. It just doesn't have the resh yet.
Just hold on. I know you get excited. I need to break this down so people comprehend where we're going with this. So we're building 803 through the foundation of woman, but it has to be done through the Spirit first because that was taken out. We need to know to remove what we've been told is not. We need to see what is. This is a gentle step, but we can't just say the words and say that we need to show it in a gentle form to know that this can be embraced in the frequency of love, and we diminish all fear. We have just rendered clear the amygdala is the seat of the temple, and they projected much fear, and now this is where we get anxiety and fear. But if we can clean that slate off through just diet and frequencies, we can have shalom on the seat.
And by the way, Bet Lamed, in As a Man Thinks, I share with that. That's inside authority. And that word, Bet Lamed, also means fear and anxiety.
Yes.
So it roots in our heart because it's the same word for heart as well. It's one of the Lamed Bet or Bet Lamed is a word for heart.
Yes.
So then that is what transfers up to the amygdala.
Yes. Yeah.
That they control and manipulate us with.
And that'll be another teaching because it's another whole thought. I just need to get this to where I need to land it. So
we're going.
So what we're building is the ark. We're building full representation of love. and it's sharp. Now we want to build this so we can enter rest, right? So now I just want to bring this word up so we can see that Yeshua is a foundational. So fire is your foundation. This is everything, because this is where the fire law came from. Because what was taken out of the frequency of man,
Laisha.
right? And so it's fire.
Mm-hmm.
So that teaching, that rendering was taken out. Now we're finding our way back.
So were you saying even like the pronunciation of Ashua as in Yeshua?
Yeah, I mean it's an establishment. This is a foundation.
Yeah.
Again, even Yeshua is only a word.
Right. It's a frequency.
It's a frequency of what he was representing, well, in his form that we are to resemble its likeness. But it's still, everything has foundation. Otherwise, it won't be right standing.
Correct.
So let's see what this foundation, because this foundation is built off of fire each.
Right. And you can see, are you having us look at Jeremiah 50:15, the first occurrence of this word?
Well, I'm not going to.
No, not the verse, just right here what it's showing.
If you have it on there, I've already done
Yeah.
it. You can go. Yeah.
So what it's showing is that the tav has been placed in the center of the word.
Yes.
So love has been placed within the heart.
Within the heart.
And the end of this has Yod He, which is the beginning of Yod He Vav He, which is representative of Mother's teaching.
Right. So we're building.
So she introduces love to you so that you can place it within your heart.
Right.
That is a huge, I mean, and then naturally you can see that's what Mother does in bonding with her children.
Right. And
to show love and demonstrate what it should be like as unconditional.
Right.
What that has conditions so that you're not beating up your brother or stealing your sister's toys. So,
right. And people are asking, can you define mother and father? Yeah, well, we just kind of did. There's a masculine and a feminine side. Mother and father are there's just frequency.
Anybody who's listened to a lot of my teachings, just to let you know, I've defined that over and over and over again,
okay.
just so that you know.
So I don't need to go there again.
No,
okay.
You don't.
So let's go to see what let's go to this Ish. So because really, we're building all the back. We're going to do it to the fire. So let's go to, I want to break down this one word, because the Sheen is a powerful word. It's right in the middle of Isha, right? All of Sheen Hey. So we have the breath on one side, we have the family of one on the outside, and then we have fire in the center for the Sheen in the breakdown of just 802 Isha, because that's what was taken out.
Let me pull that back up again. Okay, so just as all of Sheen He.
All of Sheen He. Right? Okay. So let's break down the Sheen in the center of this, because this was in the heart. So let's go to 8140. Let's go to 8150.
Shanan,
which is the root for Shin. It's the root of the Sheen. This is the definition of what Sheen is. So it's the fire that raises your nature while you're in the earth. It's what will raise you while you're in your lower form.
And that's when you take the spiritual path, because the risen noon is a representation of the spiritual path versus
right.
The natural material one.
Right. And we know that the spirit part of us has been pulled out of us, so we're going through the flesh part of it outside. This is why the Vav on the outside of Vav Olive Hay. That's why it's on the outside. Until we can connect with the revelation of the spirit that's saying, follow me as the teachings,
right.
Then it gets placed and pierces your heart. Now your mind, body, and soul is aligned, and now you're walking into the spiritual component of why and who we are, and the full version of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not going to go into this, but there's 9 occurrences of this, and I wouldn't mind you just to peruse down the 9 occurrences just so people can see what is this Sheen. This is a 2-edged sword that's been sharpened.
I see that.
This is being brought into the way of rendering clear. There's so many verses in here that would greatly assist anyone in building through the fire, through the Sheen. The Sheen is more. This is mother and father as 2 components that are working together in harmony for the purpose of 2 edge coming to 1 point.
Well, and then even the Lashonam, the tongue.
In the mouth, the fire dwells in the mouth to come together to 1 point, your tongue.
Right, and it has a lamed added in front of it.
It's all about the language.
Yep. The teachers of light.
Yeah. So that's really cool right there.
And the first occurrence of this is in the Shema.
Yes, and that's where we're going next. And so we're going to say, so what are we building? And so why are we building this so we can rest? So even if you went to the root of, or extrapolated it out from this, the 8127 means tooth and ivory, to be sharp, and it's just the sheen noon. But this is the primitive father root, parental root of tooth, of sheen. Now I want you to go to one other place with this. So go to, you can go to 8127 if you want. Actually, go to 8127. So people can see that we're not making this up. So there's the sheen. All right, and now you can go to 8143, which is the Shenabim. Because this is the same as Seraphim. This is the same as Alephim. This is what you're doing. This is the Cherubim when it's consuming.
8147?
8143. Or, did I put that wrong? Sorry. Oh, no, that's right. 8143. Yep.
Okay.
Because there's a reason why I'm bringing us here. So now this is elephant tusk. This is ivory.
Mm-hmm.
So think of an elephant in the splendor and the grandeur and the majesty of two tusks coming out from the head. Right? Power and authority.
That's Quran. That's horns.
This is where we're going to. So we're going from what's coming out of the head is the power and the authority of what you've done to consume the nature through the fire. This is where you render down power and authority. And it's in the form of this measure right here, because this is the essence of fire. So, and that all these are connected. 8143, 8127, and 8150 are all connected as the sheen. They're points that teach you into diligently seeking the fire which was pulled out of you. This is what it's saying. This is your power and authority back to right standing to the top of the mountain. So now let's go to, and so we, because at some point we're all growing weary of this, right? As we're being compressed, we're going weary. So now go to 7674. You just brought it up.
Shabbat?
Shabbat. The Sabbath.
Yeah.
That's the rest.
Yeah.
Now we define.
Wow. It's shuv. It's shuv with the tav on the end. Turn to love.
Turn to love.
Turn to love.
Or be consumed in building love.
Exactly.
That's how you
the
find
consuming
rest.
Process of building that which is needed in covenant, which gives you the power to be marked in the sign signature frequency of love.
So now we just define what Sabbath is. Sabbath is building love.
Love.
We live in the Sabbath by building love. You don't need to pick a day now. And this takes religion all to pieces. Because what you're doing is you're building the frequency of love through the spirit of love every day is the Sabbath. This is how you enter rest.